Hello everybody, this is Daniel Babis. Welcome back to Daily Soap Dish. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button down below. We cover a ton of 90 Day Fiancé. Alright, so let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about Paul Staehle, and we're going to be doing a bit of a side-by-side comparison with none other than another infamous 90 Day Fiancé cast member, Geoffrey Paschel. So Paul Staehle versus Geoffrey Paschel, and we're going to be looking at these two individuals because in recent days, in light of the allegations made against Paul Staehle of rape, of sexual assault, of physical, violent abuse, sexual abuse, all the horrendous things that were mentioned in Karini's letter against Paul in the restraining order, a lot of people have brought up Geoffrey's name, and everybody is wondering, how in the hell does TLC just let these people, these domestic abusers, these sexual abusers, just to come on the show? How is it possible? Why don't they have a screening process going on? What exactly is going on? So I'm going to get to that question in a little bit. First off, I'm just going to look at Paul versus Staehle. I'm going to look at their rap sheets. I'm going to look at all of the things that they have been accused of and also prosecuted for, that they have done jail time for, and we will see if there are any similarities between these two guys. Alright, so let's start off with Geoffrey Paschel. So many fans will remember that Geoffrey Paschel was on the last season of Before the 90 Days, and even before the season started, many fans were outraged that TLC chose to get this guy, considering the massive amount of charges against him. His criminal past was through the roof, and people just didn't understand just what in the blue hell was TLC thinking when they brought this guy. I still don't really understand what they were thinking. So let's go through some of Geoffrey's charges just to see. So Geoffrey has been married, I believe, 4 times. And pretty much every single marriage ended in absolute catastrophic fashion. So let's skip the first wife because I don't have much information about it at this moment in time. But let's go to his second wife. So wife number 2, in 2004, Geoffrey would have been around 24, 25 at the time. In 2004, there were some court documents filed that accused Geoffrey Paschel of physical assault. In the document, it was also claimed that the wife had medical records to back up her claim. So she had proof that Geoffrey Paschel had physically assaulted her. And the ex-wife, she also claimed that not only did Geoffrey assault her, but he assaulted her in front of her children, which is absolutely disgusting. And also, there was also some allegations that same wife brought up that she was raped numerous times, which is wow. And also the wife also said that Geoffrey was going to take her life. I'm sorry guys, if I'm laughing, it's not because I find it funny, it's because I find it ridiculous. I find it ridiculous that TLC, actually someone at TLC read this and said, hey, let's get this guy on the show. I'm honestly in shock. Let's go to his third wife. So in 2013, Geoffrey Paschel was undergoing another divorce process. So this was from his third wife. So wife number 3. So the wife actually took out a protection order against Geoffrey, and she had requested that he would not be allowed to co-parent. They had a child together. So she was accusing him of putting their son in danger because he was selling opiate medication, so like drugs basically. He was selling drugs, and he had a history of using his children as mules. This is unbelievable. Let's go to the fourth wife now. So this was before the charges in 2019, which I will get to in a second. This guy has quite the long rap sheet. So with his fourth wife, so he had also an ongoing custody battle, and her name was Brittany. So they actually divorced. They reached an agreement, but there were some issues that arose throughout their divorce proceedings. So they were trying to co-parent, but all of that kind of broke down. And then there were some legal papers that showed that Brittany was given some custody, but that kind of like, there was issues with it because Britney actually tried to take their child to Canada. Britney was Canadian. She tried to take their child to Canada and without permission, which was really a problem for her. So she lost custody of that son. Let's go back to 2019. Now this would have been just before Geoffrey actually got on 90 Day Fiancé, just before he would have started filming before the 90 days. This is what he was accused of. So he was accused, this was reported by the Knox News, which is a newspaper in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Geoffrey is from. So he was summoned to court in January due to a 2019 arrest. So the arrest happened after an alleged altercation turned violent between him and his girlfriend. He was accused of dragging her across the floor of their house, smashing her head into walls. Geoffrey pleaded not guilty to the charges, while the woman was granted a restraining order. So he was charged with aggravated kidnapping, domestic assault, and interference with emergency calls, which probably means that the girlfriend was trying to call the police, but Geoffrey wouldn't allow her to do so. So this is pretty insane. And of course, it doesn't stop there. In 1997, that's when Geoffrey's whole criminal career, let's just put it like that, started. He was charged with numerous drug charges, and it also happened, I believe he also got charged for larceny and theft in 2000, and he also spent some time behind bars between 2001 and 2003. For possession, it was reported that he was in possession of 5 pounds of marijuana, 2 ounces of cocaine, $15,000, and a firearm. Now the thing is, I'm not really looking to talk too much about his drug charges. What I'm specifically interested in is the domestic abuse, the sexual abuse, the sexual violence, the rape charges. That's what I'm interested in. Both of these guys are being accused of rape or have been accused of rape. Now we have to mention this, but Geoffrey is denying all of these allegations. He's saying that everything is flat out a lie. Now I have to say, whether he's denying it and whether he is correct, now I have to say it's a little unbelievable that 4 wives would have similar stories about the same guy, but he is saying that it's all a complete setup. All these people, they are selfish, self-absorbed, they're very manipulative, sneaky, and they're all out to get him. So maybe it's 3, I'm not sure if he has any issues with the first wife, but he's saying all these people are out to get him, and he will clear his name one day. I still haven't seen what has happened. He was supposed to go to court at some point in recent time. It was postponed due to the coronavirus, so it might still be pending. So we will see what happens with Geoffrey. But this is his history, and whether or not Geoffrey can perhaps get some of the charges removed from his record, he has a massive rap sheet. It's pretty much like this. And so when TLC approached this guy, what were they thinking? How can they let someone with this record on the show? Here's the thing. They decided at some point on the show that they were actually going to not let Geoffrey come on the tell-all. But I gotta be honest here, that seems like such a half-assed measure, because they filmed the whole season, and they let Geoffrey be on the whole season. They let his storyline play out, and of course we know why, because Geoffrey's storyline was one of the juiciest storylines of last season on Before the 90 Days, because we had this massive thing where he kind of broke up with Varia. Varia was in Russia, and he left her. He told her he never wanted to see her again. He was completely done. He comes back home. He's almost right away back with Mary, and then Varia just kind of flies to the US, just completely unexpected, meets Geoffrey, and just like that, Geoffrey is done with Mary. He just tosses her to the side, and he is back hopping into bed with Varia just very, very quickly, and he proposes to her, and everything is happy. So it was a massive twist, and people really enjoyed the twist, and I feel like that's the reason why TLC waited to have the whole story play out, and then decide to have Geoffrey on the tell-all. But the tell-all is not really a big deal to the overall season. Alright, so that's Geoffrey's story. Let's move on to Paul's story. So Paul also has a rap sheet. It's not as big as Geoffrey, but he still has some pretty serious charges on his resume. So in 2004, Paul was convicted of arson. Let's just tell you exactly what it is, but it was actually, he was accused of second-degree arson, and what that actually means is that he was accused of burning personal property to defraud an insurer. Now, a lot of people have said in the comments that he burned his house down with his girlfriend in it, and it was like a revenge scheme. He was trying to burn his house down to get back at his girlfriend or something like that. Now, look, I don't know, but based on the information that we have, this seems to be the official legal information about what exactly happened. Is there more information out there? Look, I don't know. It could be rumors. I will just say that this is the official information that we have, and Paul has pretty much owned to this information as far as we have seen. So he was accused of second-degree arson, so he was trying to defraud an insurer. So that was back in 2007. Paul would have been about 24 or so. He wasn't charged until 2014, so it took a while before, he wasn't convicted until 2014, so it took a while before he got his conviction. So that's one thing. He was also arrested for violating a protection order. So this is what happened. He was arrested for violating a protective order in 2013. And he wrote something. Basically what happened is that he's saying that he sent a text message to his ex-girlfriend, and because his ex-girlfriend had a protective order against him, that's what got him in trouble. Now here's the thing, Paul also supposedly had a protective order against his ex-girlfriend, so they had mutual protective orders. Does that ring a bell? Does that sound familiar? Right now, Paul is trying to get a protective order against Carini, while Carini has one against Paul. So it's like history repeating itself. So this is where it's at. Now, there's some other rumors about Paul, guys. They are unverified, and it's supposedly about an ex-girlfriend, but I will not go into too much detail because those rumors are unverified, and the outlets that had those pieces up, the pieces have been removed. So for whatever reason, they have been removed, so I can't go into it. But there are other allegations out there against Paul, but let's just say that we can assume that they are false based on the fact that they were forced to be removed. So that's where we're at now. Of course, right now on the show, Carini has sent a restraining order to Paul, where she's accusing him of rape, of physical assault, physical abuse, and all kinds of things. We went through those in a bunch of previous videos. So if you guys don't know exactly what it entails, just look at a few videos back and you will see. So Carini is accusing him of a whole bunch of nasty things, and some nasty things that, like I said, you have seen Geoffrey be accused of. Now, like I said, Geoffrey was removed last season from the tell-all. Many people thought that that was because of his criminal past. Now look, it doesn't make any sense to me, even though I believe that that's the case, but it doesn't make any sense to me because TLC had that information when the show started, so I don't really get what their screening process is like. So based on that fact that Geoffrey was removed, considering his past, and based on the fact that right now, as we are talking, we have an active case that is evolving between Carini and Paul, where Carini is accusing Paul of rape. Can TLC keep this guy on the show based on their precedent that they set in previous seasons with guys like Geoffrey? I don't see how they can do it. Look, right now, if you look on the internet, there is a petition to get Paul removed. This started about 3 days ago, and you can go on change.org. There is a petition to stop 90 Day Fiancé from enabling domestic abuse. And I have to agree, 90 Day Fiancé, by putting all these guys on the show with all these records, that is exactly what they are doing. They are enabling domestic abuse for the purpose of gaining viewership by having these, these people with these very checkered past and histories that, of course, the producers have to know that these peoples are going to get involved in some heated arguments. They're going to be controversial figures on the show. And, of course, they have to know that this stuff is going to sell. However, it comes at a price. And that price is that something like in the Paul and Carini case could potentially happen if you have the right, I say right in quotation marks, if you have the right person on the show, which of course is not something we want. And TLC has had issues, of course, with the Duggar, controversy in the last couple of years. So TLC is flirting the line right now with all these people that they're getting on the show with these checkered pasts, and these people that seem to have criminal issues, and these people that also on television they display this very kind of like erratic behavior, and people that seem like they could lose it. Geoffrey was one of those. We saw him last season that when he was back in Russia and he was talking to various friends, he really lost his cool very quickly and he was ready to fight, and he was just a very volatile kind of person. He cooled down after that, but you could see it. And Paul also loses his cool very, very easily. And then you combine that with his history, and it makes for a potentially volatile, explosive situation. So there is a petition right now. If you want to get Paul removed on the show, you can go and vote in this petition. I will leave the link down below. It's on change.org. You can do your part. If you don't want to see Paul on TLC, if you want TLC to change the way that they cast people. Now look, like I said, I was going to talk about the casting process. It's unclear. That's all I got to say about that. I believe some people from TLC have come out in the past. I think actually it was when Paul was originally originally cast on the show. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that there has been some talk from people at TLC or Discovery, who owns TLC, by the way, about the casting process, and they're saying that there is a casting process and it's very serious and whatnot. However, that does not seem to be the case. And if I remember correctly, Big Ed, I believe he said that from the time that he applied on the show till the time that he was like off in the Philippines and shooting was just like a week or two or something like that. He made it seem like it was very, very quick. If I'm not mistaken, it was Big Ed. And Big Ed, of course, is another guy that has an issue. He has been accused of some pretty nasty stuff, sexual assault and abuse as well. If you guys want to check out that video, it's actually the first video on this channel, and you can learn more about the Big Ed situation. So TLC has a lot of these people on the show. It does not seem like they're doing these very, very, like in-depth screening. It doesn't seem like they have a very in-depth screening process whatsoever. No matter what they say, if you look at these people, the records they have, it does not seem like TLC does a very good job at screening people. And I think right now it's a disaster waiting to happen. TLC is going to have to change how they do this, and if they don't, we're going to have a massive disaster on our hands, which I hope doesn't happen. So if you guys want Paul to be removed, look, I'm not saying that he should or shouldn't be. I am just letting you guys know that there is a petition out there right now. It's not my opinion whether or not Paul should be, because I don't want to make a statement on whether or not Paul is guilty, but the allegations, the charges are out there, and just based on the fact that the charges out there, they have to be investigated, and if ever those charges are proven to be true and TLC keeps Paul on the show, it will definitely look like they were enabling a potential rapist this whole time. Now, like I said, I am not saying that Paul is a rapist or not. I don't know, but the charges are out there, and based on that fact, someone needs to act on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, guys. This is going to do it for today. Give the video a big thumbs up if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to subscribe by hitting that button down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.